The fastest way to create a form in Access is simply to click on a table or a query. So let's say we start by clicking on the Employees table. If I then go to the Create tab in the ribbon and the Forms group, I'll simply hit the Form tool, which is the button called Form. If I click Form, instantly I've got a form based on the Employees table and even showing me the related table, Orders. And from there I can start to interact with the form rather than the table. If I then close this particular form, it asks me if I want to save, and I'll go yes. And at this point I'll give it the name FRM Employees. Actually FRM Employee Details. And OK. And I've created a form called FRM Employee Details. And there it is there. If I want to create another instant form for my Customers table, click on the Customers table, go to Create, and just click the Form button, and you've instantly got a form created for the table or the query you were sitting on. I'll then close that, save yes, and I'll call it FRM Customer Details. And I've created my second form. If I want to have a little bit more say as to what the form is going to include and how the form is to look, then I probably won't use the Form tool. I will probably use the Form Wizard. Let's, for example, irrespective of where you're sitting, go to Create and in the Forms group choose the Form Wizard. At this point you're able to say what table or query you would like to base this form on. I'm going to go for the table products. Then you can choose what fields you'd like. So I might go for product ID, send that across, product name, send that across, unit price, send that across, and also send across discontinued. So you selectively choose what fields you'd like to show, and then I go next. At this point, this form can have a number of different layouts, and the layout I'd like to choose is tabular, and next to that. At this point it wants a title, so I'm going to call it Products Pricing, and this is what will appear at the top of my form, and I'll click Finish. And there's my Products Pricing form, where I can interact with this form instead of the products table and put in these details. If I then close this, I will see there's a form called Products Pricing in my navigation pane. If I wish to rename it according to the conventions I typically use for customer details, employee details, I'll right-click Products Pricing and I'll rename this object and I'll call it FRM Products Pricing. One word. To create another form using this particular Form Wizard is I might actually decide to go to Create, Form Wizard, and this time I want to create a form based on the Shippers table. So I'll go to the table Shippers. I'll send across all the details using the two greater thans and I'll go Next. I'll then decide what layout I like and I'll go for columnar, leave it on columnar, and go Next. And then I'll just give it the title Shippers. So I'll accept that and I'll just go Finish. And there's my Shippers form. And I can move between the three shippers using my navigation buttons. If I close this form, I'll see that there's a form called Shippers in my navigation pane. It gives it the form gets the name from the title. So if I want to rename it, I'll right click and rename this object FRM Shippers. And so you can create forms really quite easily by going to Create and working with the various tools in the Forms group. In the Stage 2 or Level 2, we get right into form design and how to design forms, including these types of forms, modules, split, data sheet, and multiple items. We also look at the form design and blank forms and creating things from scratch and really learning how to make forms tick. But it falls outside the scope of this particular course.